Tonight, around the world, more than 1 billion people in mourning. This after the leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis, died at the age of 88.
History's first Latin American pontiff charmed the world with his humble style and concern for the poor.
It is Monday night. I'm Gray Hall with Shari Williams. The big story tonight on Action News is the reaction to the death of Pope Francis.
This afternoon, the Vatican released his death certificate saying the 88-year-old pontiff died from a cerebral stroke, which led to his heart stopping. According to his will, Pope Francis is requesting burial in the Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. Pope Francis passed away just a day after Easter. He was able to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ with thousands of faithful who gathered at St. Peter's Square in Vatican City, blessing the crowd from the balcony and greeting them in his Pope Mobile.
Beautiful timing on God's part, and my sense was that he celebrated Easter yesterday with the faithful, and he's celebrating with Jesus Christ today in heaven.
Pope Francis spent his life serving the church, making history as the first pope from Latin America and the first Jesuit. He's also credited with bringing a new wave of optimism into the Catholic religion. And in the wake of his passing, many people, of course, remembering when Pope Francis visited Philadelphia back in 2015.
It was so memorable. During that historic September weekend, he touched the lives of so many people, including one local family. Action News reporter Caroline Goggin now joins us live from the Basilica with a look back at that historic weekend. Caroline.
Shari and Gray, during that visit, the Pope celebrated Mass here at the Basilica. He made stops across the Philadelphia area, but his very first stop was at the Philadelphia airport, where he met a young boy and created a moment that changed his family's life forever.
He drove by and then he waved like to stop, and then he just jumps right out and starts walking over, and at that point
it was just emotions took over.
It is a moment that defined the papal visit to Philadelphia in 2015, and it's one Kristen and Chuck Keating will never forget. Chuck is the band director at Bishop Shanahan High School in Downingtown. The band was invited to play at the airport as the Pope arrived.
He called me in my classroom and he said, "I hope you have a good camera." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "You're going to need it because you're going to go." And I'm like, no, it's the kids. And he goes, "No, they said we can bring all of us, even Michael."
Their son Michael was 10 years old at the time. He lives with cerebral palsy, unable to use his arms and legs, considered deaf and blind. That day, Pope Francis beelined to him in his wheelchair, surrounded by his family.
I literally, of all the people in the whole world, like, how could he make time for our son and bless him?
The Keatings say they have experienced so many blessings since this encounter. A picture of that embrace hangs on the wall just steps from Michael's room. And when they heard about the Pope's passing, they thought of this moment.
I don't think I'm mourning. I'm more of celebrating his life and what he stood for and what he was about. And I think that's how he would like it known, as people understand that he was for everybody.
He was often referred to as the People's Pope, and that was on full display at the airport on that September day when he picked Michael Keating out of the crowd. And
I don't think it was even a second thought when he stopped it and he made the beeline right for Michael. You just knew it. That was his purpose.
Now, the Keatings tell us that every year on that anniversary of meeting the Pope, they make sure to celebrate together as a family. And Chuck tells me that every September he tells his students at Bishop Shanahan about that exact moment, hoping to teach them about the Pope's kindness. We are live tonight outside of the Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul. I'm Caroline Goggin for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Shari and Gray.
Yeah, those moments just etched into our minds. Caroline, thank you. Pope Francis' successor will be selected following a centuries-old process called the Papal Conclave. The gathering typically takes place 15 to 20 days after a pope's death.
In that time, the College of Cardinals gather in the Sistine Chapel, spending their time in silence and prayer without any contact with the outside world as they examine the contenders.
Download the free 6ABC app for continuing coverage of the life and legacy of Pope Francis. We are posting reaction from here at home and around the world, along with details on the process of eventually selecting the next pope.